I've been on staff with FCA since 2006. And about 10 years, about 2016, 2017, it got mandated, required, regardless of how long you've been on staff, so your position on staff, you were required to go to what's called communication school. Someone's going to help you communicate more clearly, more efficiently, effectively. It was required. Now, here's one of the realized for me that I didn't realize. And this is this is a deception that we have. Not you specifically to this necessarily, but deception that I really don't need it. I really don't have the time. You know, we get suggested and recommended things all the time. I mean, think about it. How many times someone said, "Well, you should try this." Like, yeah, I should try it. Yeah, you're right. You look into this. Yeah, maybe I will. And what happens? We're creatures of habit that our mind is set on doing only what we know, what we want to, what we're familiar with. But what if you're required? See, if I was recommended or it was made a strongly suggested, hey, I think you should go to communication school, I'm like, all right, well, you know, and they like go on what's called Team to FC. There's different places they're having it, different dates. I'm like, well, there's some of my staff I know that need it. I don't. Why? Because I was just seeing thinking, hey, I speak already. I go to a place outside of FCA, like I'm here today. I speak. I get referrals. I get asked to come back. So I must be doing okay. I must be doing all right. No one's ever said, not that they haven't thought it, but never said, man, that was horrible. You know, I mean, could you do better? I was deceived in thinking that I didn't need it. But it was required. So how to go? So again, this is talking about go out of my comfort zone, getting out of what I'm doing, and I have to go find where to go, find dates, cut out my schedule. So it was drive to Charlotte, which is about 3.5 hours from me, 2 full days. So you go there the night before and get there early. It's all day, 2 days. And of course, my attitude going in is like, let's just get this over with. Anyone been there with anything? Let's just get this over with. Don't raise your hand if you're sitting here right now going with this. Let's just get this over with. Just get it out of yourself right now. And the guy that led it, I'm good friends with now, Alan Hoffler. He works not just with FCA around the country, but with a lot of PR companies and different industries. And he has a tripod set up with his camera, with his video, and he has a flash drive. And there's about 10 or 12 of us, like small groups. And the very first thing that we do is you get up and he says, look, 2-3 minutes, just who you are, some things about yourself, such and such, right? And he puts it in because he's going to video it because it always tells the truth. Sometimes if we can just see ourselves, right? So, Matt Truppel, I'm get done, I feel I do well. Because I've done this before. I've had a lot of practice. That's what I'm thinking. Everyone goes and then he puts it in and we watch. And he tears you up and down. Not in a bad way, but what are you doing here? Why are you looking at the floor? What's with all the filler words? Did that make sense, what you just said? There's all these different things. And I'm watching, I'm like, when he's pointing these things out, I'm like, oh gosh. I mean, but he's the professional, so he points these out. And just start talking about psychological terms, how audience takes in things and visuals. And then we started working on. We had all these different exercises all day that day, all day the next day, and you would do these certain exercises, and it's all on here. And the end, it was all day the next day as well. It's towards the evening, and we were finished. And he says, this is what we're going to do. This is how you're going to finish. You're going to go up there again. I mean, it's probably not going to be verbatim, but basically speak and say what you said yesterday morning, which at that time felt like a long time ago, but it wasn't even 48 hours. Puts it in, you video it, he videos it, pretty much the same thing. He goes, this is what I want you to do. You're going to take these home, and I'm really going to, can't require it, but I'm really going to suggest you watch it right away. Watch yesterday and watch tonight immediately, and then all the exercises that you need to practice. You got to choose to practice them. It was like night and day. I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't realize I had so much room for improvement, to be sharper, to be more clear, more concise, to communicate in a way that everything I was saying could be received clearly. It was night and day. But here was the challenge, right? We've heard this a whole lot. I know practice makes perfect. Practice does not make perfect. If you're practicing a bad foul shot with bad form and it's not hitting, you're not going to get better, right? Basketball coach, anyone here? Anything you do, any type of mechanics that you're trying as an athlete, anything you do, and as an individual, I wasn't going to get better because I kept practicing. It's what I was practicing would help me get better. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. The question is, what are you permanently practicing? Because the challenge I had and the challenge we have is we're in a concentrated area. Just like we're here, it's a concentrated area right now. You're here. This is the focal. I'm sure just like me at places, I go to seminars, things, my phone, different things, but this is where you're at. And so that's where we were, but I was going home just like you go outside here and life just comes at you, right? There's so many things you have to do. There's so many things that you are required to do, right, for your job. There's so many things maybe for a spouse at home that you should definitely do. Your mind always wants to go back what it's familiar with. So the challenge is teach yourself to carve out space. You don't have time. We don't have time. We make time with that which we think is important. We have to make an advanced decision. We have to make an advanced decision to be intentional in what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And what happens is, and this is a cheap promo for me. This is covering one of my books. But the silhouette is, to me, is a very strong statement. One person helping another. And this is what I would say to each of us. We are both of them. I believe the requirement for each of us is that we continue to grow in the excellence that we are, because other people need not only to see it, but they need for us to be someone that can help them as well. I mean, every day, so it's having a paradigm shift every day that you listen and you speak. You receive and you give. You get taught and you teach. We are both of them. We have to see ourselves. We cannot say that, well, no one's helped me, and this is the position I am. Every one of you is a leader where you are. And that's a mindset to have, because you are as important as everyone else for the totality of this team, call you a team, to work. Right? So when I would ask you, not what's your job, what is your leadership position here?
I'm a graduate assistant.
Okay, you're GA. All right, that's important because you're needed, all those things that you do, to help that who you work for to stay focused on what he needs to do, correct?